Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Heart of the Swarm campaign on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries of StarCraft 2. And in this episode, we'll be continuing on with Enemy Within, using Niadra in order to absorb as much life essence on this Protoss ship as we can, in order to successfully prevent it from getting to Shakuris. Also, we get access to Raptorlings and a bigger Niadra. Now that Niadra has morphed the second time, we get access to roaches.
Yay. Roaches.
Unfortunately, we don't get double roaches. We just get normal roaches.
Exterminate the specimens. Do not allow the Zerg to consume them.
So there's supposed to be a ticking clock element to this room, but really there isn't, because if you've got a max out supply, which is really easy for Niadra to maintain, you know she can just walk through the entire room and get all the specimens before the zealots actually pop out. So
Got lots of time.
I am Niadra.
Well, they do say that Queen is mother of her people.
I want to clear out this room before advancing into the next one, which means killing all of the spawning zealots.
Oh, so they always spawn in the same order, in the same places, and with the same ejection from cryostasis.
Yeah. Waiting for the Zergling cocoon. There. Now we can advance. More biomass.
There's a big... The cinematic could move a little faster here. It's okay, because it's still a StarCraft real-time strategy.
So it's new in the world of Cloud as we continue to harvest out the biomass on the Protoss research vessel.
Well, I'm building up my dream fort now. To think that after all this time that it was Fortnite that actually became the new time splitters that we always wanted, except that it's in the third person and everything looks ridiculous.
Oh, we also just got enough biomass to evolve Niadra for the final time, which gives us access to Hydralisks.
It's so gross.
I mean, it's the standard Zerg life cycle. Is it really that gross, Mr. Cloud?
I mean, in Part 9, I mean, we should be pretty thoroughly desensitized to this, how the Zerg are, but just the contrast that it sets with this very clean Protoss environment is striking.
So, the bonus objective for this is to actually is for Niadra to actually use a parasitic infestation on the Ursidon. So now we have access to the Ursidon unit.
Yay.
It is rather tanky and has got an AoE stun effect on it, but honestly, it's not all that useful of a unit. It's just, cool to have.
Now, this is how so it just goes to show you really can play as everything in StarCraft, even the enemies you end up fighting in the campaign.
From time to time. I mean, you can't actually use the Ursidon as a normal unit outside of Enemy Within, sadly. To be perfectly honest, I would actually like to use the Ursidon in specific missions going through Heart of the Swarm, because the AoE stun is actually really interesting. He would probably be able to get healed by our queens. It could actually work to be a relatively powerful support/frontline unit.
Let's see. Oh.
Also, if any of the escape pods reach a countdown of 0 and successfully launch, you lose. So it's important to actually use your Zerglings efficiently throughout this segment.
Yeah, they're not just telling you because the story says so. They're telling you because it's a game that needs to give the player verbal cues and instructions.
Yep. I have only ever managed to lose this mission once on normal, by the launch effects, and that was when I decided to try and go all Hydralisks, and then the big issue that I had was was the fact that my units kept getting in front of each other without being efficiently placed.
Pathing. Yeah, like right here, for example. Nobody's doing jack because they can't get off the bridge.
But there we go. We have successfully prevented the launches. Now we just got to finish off the rest of the Protoss, which is just this Archon, these 2 sentries, and 2 zealots.
We will never be defeated. We give our lives for the cause.
Ah,
Ha ha ha. Because I will eat you.
well, kill. I mean, Niadra, as we'll discover later, one of the big issues that plague the Zerg going through this campaign is the fact that Protoss biomass is not actually compatible with the Zerg evolution tree. Abathur will tell us that later.
Protoss are no more, my queen.
No. Kerrigan has already told us that when she was talking with Isha.
My queen, can you hear me?
Oh?
We are alone.
Yes. Sequel bait.
The Queen of Blades has given us one purpose: to destroy the Protoss.
And this is the last time we get to see Niadra on this mission.
We will serve again.
That's a lot of hatcheries on Niadra. How do you spawn those without drones?
And so we have sown the seeds of later Protoss destruction.
Alright then. So, with Enemy Within done, we can actually move on from Shakuris. Sorry, not Shakuris, but Glacius? Whatever the fuck the ice planet is. To our next major planet.
There's no turning back now.
I do not understand.
The Protoss will never forgive what I've done here. If my becoming human again eased their fears, well, I've given them new reasons to be afraid.
Actually, as the zealot that we first talked to mentioned, the Protoss were unaware that Kerrigan got
Our
purged.
Leviathan is able to travel to another world at your command.
No, almost like,
Placed parasite.
it was a brief little stopover back in human land, but now we see that Kerrigan does spend most of her existence basically as the Queen of Blades.
But can be hosted.
Not as Queen of Blades, but Queen of the Zerg. There is a difference.
I made it, Abathur. You're not the only one who can spin sequences.
Revelation will continue work.
And so we go on to the next evolution mission for the Roaches. We'll be getting the Vile Strain after this is over. But I do like that the evolution missions get to, at least show us the optimal conditions for the for each of the evolutionary paths.
Improve swarm. Planet Cantor.
Concealed Protoss facility. I like Abathur.
Very robotic.
Many Protoss specimens. Captive Scantipede is virulent parasite.
Well then, why don't we let it out to play?
Roaches attack!
I think you're starting to like this.
So yeah, by freeing the Scantipede and absorbing its essence, we get access to the Creeper strain of Roaches. The Creeper strain, when it kills an enemy, spawns Roachlings, and the Roachlings are okay. They're honestly pretty terrible. It's an interesting combat upgrade for the Roaches. It's just not very viable for what I plan to do with them. The roaches that I use are almost always intended to be an auxiliary frontline unit. An auxiliary, yes, auxiliary frontline.
Auxiliary.
I can't pronounce the other L in that word, Cloud. I'm sorry. It just eludes me.
It's auxiliary.
Corpser strain implants Roachling parasite. Erupts from enemy's corpse.
Yes, and it spawns Roachlings.
Survivors.
Kill them all. and then play with their bodies.
Behold, the Roachlings, they are cute. Also, they're melee units as opposed to the Roach's natural state of being ranged units.
Let the Roachlings attack the enemy first.
But yeah, a majority of the time, the evolution missions effectively play themselves. There is exactly one evolution that you can fail if you screw it up, and I do show my failed take of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, as Pascoda is mentioning here, the corpser/creeper strain of roaches is interesting. It's just not as useful or compelling as the vile strain. So that's why we use the vile strain instead.
Surround, conquer, spit.
Yeah, this is one of the smaller complaints that you have about the creeper roachlings. They effectively have the same role as the zerglings do. They are relatively low damage, but mass very easily against larger targets.
Now proceed through the blood.
Scantipede essence secure.
What I would like, however, is for the Scantipede essence that we just picked up to be implemented into other aspects of our forces. I think technically the Scantipede template for life form ends up getting incorporated into the Viper, but I'm not sure.
Microbial organisms reproduce within pools.
Accelerated evolution.
Consume most organs seize up, die. Survivors adapted, formed symbiotic bond with microbes.
Like so, and became purple roaches.
Vile roach, ready for command.
I sense Protoss forces nearby. Let's see these new roaches in combat.
Can do.
Wow, this is a bit jumpy. I can't remember the last time we went this quickly from planet to planet.
That's because you don't remember us doing the Zergling Evolution mission, because that was a whole week ago.
Well, these Zergling evolution missions do get quite jumpy. We're only here for a bit. We're just collecting we're just taking swabs and forming mobs.
Yeah.
Systems unresponsive. Cannot attack.
So, what the Vile Strain of the Roach actually does is it applies a stacking debuff that decreases attack speed attack speed and movement speed on enemies that it hits. Using enough Vile Roaches stacked together will effectively make it so that enemies no longer have the ability to resist you. I don't think that they can totally disable attack, but they can get it down to like 1/10 normal speed. So
That's pretty bad.
yeah.
Especially on the bigger units. The bigger they are, the worse
bigger
the
units
detriment.
like the Immortals and Archons. Oh yeah, that are denoted by having very powerful but relatively long attack cycles. Oh yeah, Vile Roaches absolutely shred heavier units because of it.
Additional roaches arriving now.
More roaches. Thank you,
Abathur.
Abathur.
Send them in.
Like, watch how many attacks
Destroy
this
things.
Colossus gets out. It's 1, 2, and
Oh boy.
3.
Yeah, and then you change up your fire. Yep, you spread them out. Very good. So that's how you do it.
And Colossus are supposed to be very good at dealing with swarms of units, but they're not. But they're absolute crap against Vile Roaches. Mwah.
How about a round of stuns? How about a nice Alan Wake flashlight round of stuns for everybody? Yeah, you could use a stun. You, sir, you could use a stun. Here, you have a stun.
Sequences ready for integration.
So yeah,
Wait.
now up to 75%. It also even works on heroic units, which is kind of weird because we don't. The only heroic units we'll be fighting are the hybrid, and I don't actually use roaches against the hybrid that often, except for one particular mission much later on in the campaign.
Evolution complete.
It's
the
very
vial.
nice. And in the next episode,
part,
we'll be moving on to the next planet. I think we're actually going to Xeris, but we've got a cutscene to go through first. Be safe, everybody.
And remember, it's not how fast you're firing, but how fast your opponent is firing.